Hey everyone, Duke Nukem 3D here with another video for you guys, and today I'm going to be talking to you about advanced cleaning techniques for your gas mask, i.e. things that most people will not tell you if you want to clean a gas mask if you get it brand new, surplus, or used, and basically just, little things that really make the difference in the long run. So essentially, the main thing you want to do, first and foremost, it's pretty much common sense, is to give the mask a gentle cleaning with warm water, not scalding per se, but obviously not cold, basically room temperature or above water, and use a mild detergent such as dish soap, hand soaps, nothing too harsh with any extreme chemicals in it, although it probably will not hurt the mask because these are obviously designed to protect against seaburn agents, but even still you don't want to use anything rash. So stick with warm water and dish soap or mild detergent of some other form. That's pretty much the majority of what you'll need to do to get the bulk of any dirt and blooming or residue talcum powder off the mask, but it is not always effective. And the reason I have these two masks here is because these are probably, at least in my collection, the worst two candidates for blooming. Check masks in general have a very, very bad habit of blooming, and it's ironic it's called blooming because with these check masks, it almost seems to be seasonal. Like certain temperatures will cause the mask to bloom just, around certain times of the year. And the Russian ones obviously will come with a shit ton of bloom on it due to the fact that most Russian rubber is not the... I mean, it's high quality rubber, but the way they blend it is a very tacky rubber when it is finished, and so they literally cake these things in preservative talcum or chalk powder. And if you don't know what blooming is, I'll go ahead and describe that really quick. Blooming is essentially what happens when preservative powders such as talcum or chalk powder or even dirt and other foreign dust and debris have accumulated on the surface of the mask for long periods of time, and essentially, as the natural rubber begins to break down slightly, the sulfur evaporates from the compound, the combination of charcoal, sulfur, and obviously the natural rubber base. As that sulfur evaporates, it combines with the preservative powder or dirt and dust on the surface and results in a tacky, persistent, flaky coating that is commonly referred to as blooming. It may appear as white, off-white, or in some cases, if the mask is dirty, brown. And this is commonly confused with dirt or things like that. It is very difficult to remove, and so as I've said, I'm going to be going into detail on improved ways to remove it, because water and soap is not often enough to remove blooming. It's very persistent. It's basically natural oils and, sort of a pasty coating of the talcum powder and dirt, as I've said. But one step that, or one tool that is good to have in your arsenal of cleaning masks is old toothbrushes. Save those old toothbrushes because you'll have areas around lens crimping, just very minute detail crevices like harness buckles where you want to get into there. And toothbrushes are especially helpful for corrugated hoses if you want to clean those off. So a toothbrush is an indispensable piece of equipment to have if you want to clean a gas mask. This stuff right here, this is coconut oil. Originally, I have spread around I don't want to say a rumor because it does have some truth to it. The fact, quote unquote, that coconut oil is a good tool for preserving rubber or restoring rubber, quote unquote, but this is not really as much the case. It's kind of common knowledge that rubber and oil kind of aren't good for each other. Rubber, especially natural rubber in particular, the thing with oil is that it's good for some instances, like if there's heavy blooming coconut oil, or if you're not can't afford coconut oil, obviously olive oil, just any type of natural vegetable or food grade oil for cooking will work at removing heavy bloom. And the way you would want to do that is you dip your finger in it, not too heavily. You want to wipe off excess, just a thin layer to rub into the surface of the rubber and break up that blooming just so you can remove it. And I have suggested the usage of coconut oil on dry rubber, and it will help moisturize the rubber. I do not know the long-term effects, and if you use excess amounts of coconut oil, it can potentially damage the rubber, as it will break up the gum rubber matrix of the blend of rubber used in molding the facepiece, and it will, again, ultimately damage the mask in the long run. So I recommend coconut oil for heavy blooming spots, but not to use it in excess. You're only to use it when absolutely necessary, if the bloom is persistent and cannot be removed by mechanical or water and soap won't do the trick either. So that's pretty much it about coconut oil. This stuff right here, this is probably my favorite, I guess, tool, solution, whatever you want to call it. This is my favorite thing to use on gas masks. This is Trident food grade silicone. It's 100% silicone. It's water-based, not oil-based, and it's not aerosol, so this has nothing in it that will damage rubber at all. The purpose of the silicone is basically it acts as both a preservative and a means of breaking up blooming. It's not as effective at breaking up blooming as, say, coconut or olive oil or vegetable oil, whatever, but it does do its job for light blooming, and it will also preserve the rubber in the long run. Basically what it does is once you spray it on and rubbed it into the surface, it will begin to dry as a coating. It's not very noticeable. It's just very thin on a very microscopic level almost. But it will make the rubber extremely smooth. It will basically prevent any sulfur from evaporating from the rubber for as long as this coating lasts. And it's just overall very indispensable to have because it will make your masks 10 times more comfortable to put on and wear. It'll make them much more displayable and not look as dirty. They will look very neat. And just overall, very, very useful. It's about like $8 to $10 or maybe $12 in some cases on eBay and other sites, and they still make it. You can still find it. It's very common. Just look up Trident food grade silicone spray and it'll come in these little 8-ounce bottles, and it goes a long way. I only need like 2 or 3 sprays to get the entire outer surface of a mask, and not really more than that unless it's particularly heavy bloomed. But just to kind of show you how it works, I will go ahead and do it on this CM4 because I do believe there is some amount of blooming on there. Basically what you'll want to do is you'll spray it once onto the surface there, and then you'll continually rub it in all over, spread it around. You want to focus on one area at a time. If you do too many areas and you can't cover them all instantly, it will dry inconsistently, and you don't really want that. But you just, not that it dries with a weird effect, but it just, you want to be able to really massage it into the rubber and get that full effect going so that you break up the bloom and you protect the rubber with the coating that it forms as it dries. So anyways, that's pretty much the gist of that. As you can see, you may not be able to tell on camera, but it's already made quite an improvement to the rubber, even though I've already treated this mask multiple times throughout my current ownership of it. But you know the drill. So that's basically it. I hope you've enjoyed and learned a thing or two. I really can't suggest much else to do to masks to clean them. These are just advanced methods that I personally do and have worked very well for me. And if you have any other suggestions or comments, I'll consider them. I'll read them and so on and so forth. So before I ramble on any further and bore you to death, I'm Duke Nude 3D. Hope you enjoyed. And if you have any comments, questions, corrections, or concerns, again, drop them in the comments below, and I'll see you all later.